Jeff Bezos, how he spends $235 billion and why he can't stop getting richer. Cold open: Jeff Bezos makes $215 million per day every single day. Whether he's sleeping, eating, or sitting on his $500 million super yacht, $215 million per day. To put that in perspective, the average American makes $60,000 per year. Jeff makes that in 4 minutes. Now here's the math that breaks your brain. To spend his entire $235 billion fortune, Jeff would need to spend $650,000 every single day for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. He could buy a Lamborghini every morning, a mansion every week, a private island every month, and he'd still die with $230 billion left over. So the question isn't, can Jeff Bezos spend all his money? The question is, what does the second richest person on earth actually spend it on? And here's what makes this story fascinating. Jeff spends like an emperor. $500 million yachts, $165 million mansions, $1 billion per year on space rockets. But compared to other billionaires, he barely gives any of it away. His ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, has donated $16 billion since their divorce. Jeff Keys bought yachts. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly where every dollar goes. The real estate empire, the toys, the space obsession, the divorce that costs $38 billion, and you'll understand why no matter how much he spends, he keeps getting richer. Because the system isn't designed for billionaires to run out of money. It's designed to make sure they never do. Let's follow the money. Chapter 1. The real estate empire. $500 million plus. Jeff Bezos owns more property than some small countries. Let's start with the crown jewel. February 2020, Beverly Hills, California. Jeff buys the Warner Estate, a sprawling compound once owned by media mogul David Geffen. Purchase price $165 million. This isn't just expensive. It's the most expensive home ever sold in California history. What do you get for $165 million? 13,600 square feet, 9 acres of prime Beverly Hills land, guest houses, tennis courts, a golf course, a man-made pond. Oh, and it was designed by the same architect who built the White House. But Jeff isn't done with California. He also owns a $120 million estate in Beverly Hills bought from media executive Jeff Katzenberg. Multiple properties in Medina, Washington, his home base near Amazon headquarters in the Medina compound alone. $70 million. Multiple lots combined into one massive estate overlooking Lake Washington. New York City. Jeff owns not one, not two, but 3 massive apartments in Manhattan. Combined value over $80 million. Location: 212 Fifth Avenue, right across from Madison Square Park. Prime Manhattan real estate, Texas. Jeff owns a ranch, not a small ranch, a 420 square mile ranch. Let me repeat that. 420 square miles. That's bigger than the city of Los Angeles. Bigger than New York City. His ranch is bigger than entire CI Hawaii. A luxury estate on Maui. Private beach. Ocean views. Tropical paradise. Washington, D.C., a historic mansion for when he needs to be near politicians and lobbyists. Total real estate portfolio over $500 million. $500 million in houses and land. The average American household is worth $141,000. Total everything combined. Jeff spent more on one house than 1,000 average families are worth combined. But real estate is just where he sleeps. Let's talk about how he travels. Chapter 2. Toys for Titans. $800 million plus the Koru, Jeff's super yacht, named after a New Zealand symbol of new beginnings. And it is excessive. Length 417 feet. That's 127 meters. Longer than a football field. Cost $500 million. $500 million for a boat. But here's the crazy part. The Koru is so big, so luxurious, so over the top that it needs a second yacht just to support it. The support yacht carries helicopters, jet skis, diving equipment, additional crew quarters, a full maintenance team. The support yacht alone costs $75 million. So Jeff spent $575 million on yachts plural. The Koru has multiple decks, a swimming pool on a boat that's in the ocean, a cinema, luxury suites for guests, a sculpture of a woman on the bow that reportedly looks like his girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez. Annual maintenance for these yachts, around $50 million per year just to keep them running. But Jeff doesn't just travel by sea, he flies private to Gulfstream G650ER jets. The G650ER is the Rolls-Royce of private jets. Top speed, Mach 0.925, nearly the speed of sound. Range, 7,500 nautical miles. You can fly from New York to Hong Kong non-stop. Price per jet, $75 million. Jeff owns 2 of them. Why 2? Backup. If one is being serviced, he still needs to fly. Annual operating costs for both jets around $10 million per year. Fuel, pilots, hangar fees, maintenance, and of course helicopters, multiple. 4 quick trips from his estates to his jets to his yachts to his yachts. Total transportation expenses: yachts, $575 million, jets, $150 million, helicopters and maintenance, $75 million. Total, $800 million in vehicles alone. That's enough money to build 10,000 homes for the homeless fund, 50,000 college scholarships, feed 5 million people for a year. But Jeff needs a backup yacht for his main yacht. Now let's talk about his real obsession, the thing he spends more on than anything else. Chapter 3. The Space Obsession. $1 billion per year. Blue Origin, Jeff's rocket company. His passion project, his legacy play. And it's burning money faster than a rocket burns fuel. Jeff founded Blue Origin in 2000 before SpaceX even existed. He's been obsessed with space since he was 5 years old. His vision makes space accessible, enable humanity to become a spacefaring civilization, move heavy industry off Earth. Noble goals, expensive goals. Jeff invests $1 billion per year into Blue Origin. $1 billion out of his own pocket. Every single year. How does he fund it? He sells Amazon stock, about $1 billion worth per year, and transfers the cash directly to Blue Origin. What has Blue Origin accomplished? New Shepard, a suborbital rocket designed for space tourism. It goes up to the edge of space about 60 miles high, floats for a few minutes, then comes back down. Jeff flew on it himself in July 2021. The flight lasted 11 minutes. He spent an estimated $500 million developing the rocket for that 11-minute flight. Blue Origin has sold a few tourist seats, $200,000 to $300,000 per ticket. A handful of wealthy people have taken the ride. But the company is nowhere near profitable. Not even close. The real goal is New Glenn, an orbital rocket designed to compete with SpaceX's Falcon 9. New Glenn has been almost ready for years. Delays, technical problems, setbacks. Meanwhile, SpaceX launches multiple times per week and is valued at $400 billion. Blue Origin still hasn't reached orbit. Jeff has spent over $15 billion on Blue Origin since 2000. And what does humanity have to show for it? A rocket that takes rich people to the edge of space for 11 minutes. To be fair, Jeff sees this as a multi-generational investment. He doesn't expect Blue Origin to be profitable in his lifetime. He's building infrastructure for the future, for his vision of millions of people living and working in space. But let's be honest, this isn't charity, this isn't philanthropy. This is a billionaire's passion project, a vanity play, a legacy gamble, and it's costing him $1 billion per year. But as expensive as Blue Origin is, it's nothing compared to what Jeff lost in 2019, the most expensive divorce in human history. Chapter 4. The $38 billion divorce. January 2019. Jeff and Mackenzie Bezos announced their divorce after 25 years of marriage. They met before Amazon existed. Mackenzie was there from the beginning, helped Jeff pack books in the garage, supported the company through near bankruptcy. She was part of the Amazon story. And when they divorced, Washington state law was clear: community property, 50-50ths split. But they negotiated. Mackenzie received 25% of Jeff's Amazon shares. Value at the time, $38 billion. $38 billion. The largest divorce settlement in history, by far. To put that in perspective, Rupert Murdoch's divorce, $1.7 billion, Mel Gibson's divorce, $425 million, Jeff's divorce, $38 billion. He paid more than 22x the next largest settlement. And here's where the story gets interesting. Mackenzie Scott, she dropped the Bezos name, immediately started giving the money away. Since 2019, Mackenzie has donated over $16 billion in 5 years. To organizations supporting racial equality, LGBTQ+ rights, public health, climate change, economic mobility, women's shelters, food banks, universities. She doesn't hold press conferences. Doesn't put her name on buildings, just writes checks and moves on. One blog post per year listing where the money went, that's it. Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos bought a yacht. The optics couldn't be worse. Mackenzie is being hailed as one of the greatest philanthropists alive. Jeff is being criticized for spending $500 million on a boat. But to understand why Jeff isn't giving money away, we need to talk about philanthropy, or rather, his lack of it. Chapter 5. The philanthropy problem. Let's compare Jeff to other billionaires. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett created the Giving Pledge in 2010, committed to donating at least 50% of their wealth. Bill has given over $50 billion. Warren has given over $50 billion. Mackenzie Scott donated $16 billion in 5 years. Jeff Bezos has pledged $10 billion to the Bezos Earth Fund, a climate initiative. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. He's only distributed about $1 billion so far. $1 billion out of $10 billion pledged. That's 10%. Compare that to his $500 million yacht. He's spent more on a boat than he's actually donated to save the planet. And unlike Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, Jeff hasn't signed the Giving Pledge. He hasn't committed to donating the majority of his wealth. Why not? Some say he wants to keep control. Billionaires who sign the Giving Pledge don't have to donate immediately, but there's public pressure. Others say he's focused on Blue Origin. He sees space exploration as his contribution to humanity. But here's what makes this uncomfortable. While Jeff spends billions on yachts and rockets, Amazon warehouse workers are peeing in bottles to meet quotas, earning $15 to $18 per hour, fighting for bathroom breaks, suffering injury rates higher than other warehouses. Amazon made $514 billion in revenue in 2022. Jeff is worth $235 billion, but workers are fighting for basic dignity. The criticism is simple. Jeff could afford to pay workers more. improve conditions, and donate billions, and still die with $200 billion. But he doesn't. And that brings us to the final, most important question. Chapter 6. Why he keeps getting richer. Here's the paradox. Jeff spends billions, and yet, every year he gets richer. In 2023, Jeff's net worth increased by $70 billion. In 1 year, he gained more wealth than he could spend in 100 lifetimes. How Amazon stock keeps going up. Jeff owns 9.6% of Amazon. When the stock rises, his net worth rises automatically. He doesn't have to do anything. No work, no innovation, no effort. He just gets richer. 2024, Amazon stock up 45%. Jeff gains $50 billion. 2023, Amazon stock up 80%. Jeff gains $70 billion. Even when he sells $1 billion per year for Blue Origin, the remaining shares grow faster than he sells. It's compound interest on steroids. This is how the system works for billionaires. Jeff owns assets. Assets appreciate. Appreciation isn't taxed until sold. When he needs cash, he borrows against the assets instead of selling. Banks give him loans at 2 to 3% interest. Why? Because he's Jeff Bezos. Zero risk. So he borrows billions at 2% interest, while his assets grow at 10 to 15% per year. The math is simple. He makes 8 to 13% profit just by borrowing his own money. This is why billionaires don't spend their money. They leverage it. Jeff doesn't buy a $500 million yacht with cash. He borrows against his Amazon stock, pays interest, and the stock appreciates faster than the interest compounds. The system is designed to make the rich richer automatically, passively, inevitably. So when you ask how does Jeff Bezos spend $235 billion, the answer is he doesn't. He can't. The system won't let him. Let me leave you with this thought. Jeff Bezos could spend $1 million every single day for the next 640 years, and he'd still die a billionaire. He could buy a mansion every week, a private jet every month, a super yacht every year, and in 640 years he'd still have money left over. But here's what he could do instead. With $235 billion, Jeff could end homelessness in America. $20 billion done. Provide clean water to every person on Earth. $30 billion done. Fund every public school teacher's salary in the US for 5 years. $35 billion done. Forgive every medical debt in America. $195 billion done. He could solve multiple global crises and still have $150 billion left for yachts and rockets. I'm not here to tell you Jeff Bezos is evil. He built Amazon. He created jobs. He changed e-commerce forever. But I am here to ask a question. In a world where one man can buy a $500 million yacht while his workers pee in bottles. In a world where $235 billion sits in one bank account while millions can't afford rent. In a world where fortunes grow faster than they can possibly be spent. Should this system exist? Not is Jeff a good person. Not did he work hard, but should any individual have $235 billion while others have nothing? I don't have the answer, but I know we should be asking the question. If this video made you think differently about wealth, hit subscribe, because we're pulling back the curtain on how the ultra-rich live and why the system keeps them there every single week. Next, we're breaking down Elon Musk, $500 billion, 3 massive bets, and how he went from nearly bankrupt to the richest person in history. Drop a comment. If you had $235 billion, what would you do with it? I genuinely want to know. Thanks for watching. And remember, the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. The question is, for who? TES.